Ms. Berner, I want to pick up where Senator Graham left off. He read you a quote of yours where you say, at its core, the right to work movement is deeply racist. He asked you several times a simple yes or no statement. Is that what you said? And you refused to answer. So I'd like to ask you again. Did you say that the right to work movement is deeply racist?
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to answer the question. In the speech I was giving, I was speaking about a historic...
Okay, so this is what you did with Senator Graham. It is a simple yes or no question. I'm not asking you about the context of it. I'm not asking you where you did it. I'm not asking what you were wearing that day. I'm saying, did you say that the right to work movement is deeply racist, yes or no?
Senator, the speech I was giving was about a historic...
Look, you're not coming off very well. You've been overcoached on this question. You knew that it was going to be raised. It is a simple yes or no question. By refusing to answer, I guess you're telling everyone up here that the answer is yes, you just don't want to admit that. You don't want it to be on tape in this hearing.
Senator, I believe that individuals who today support the right to work laws are not racist.
So did you say the right to work movement is deeply racist?
I was speaking about the history, the original history of that movement.
Yes or no, did you say the right to work movement is deeply racist?
Historically, the roots of the...
Yes or no, did you say that line?
Senator, I don't have the line of my speech in front of me. There were many lines in that speech.
Okay. Are people in Wisconsin deeply racist? They're right to work state.
Senator, as I mentioned...
Many Wisconsinites fell in the Civil War to free slaves. Are the people of Wisconsin deeply racist?
Senator, I do not believe that it can be said of the people of a state that they are racist, no.
Is the right to work law in Wisconsin deeply racist?
Senator, I'm not aware of the history of the specific laws in that state.
Okay, Mr. Mungy, same question, or I want to return, I should say, to Senator Graham. He asked you about your affiliation as a member of the advisory board for the Center of Security, Race and Rights at Rutgers Law School. Didn't pin down when you left that position.
Senator,
said 2023, or he said, and you agreed. When exactly did you leave that position?
I believe I communicated it to the director in about June, perhaps May.
Okay. Why did you, after so many years of being affiliated with them, why did you leave in May or June?
Senator, I had views on certain academic areas that I thought the center should focus on. And my notion was that the center should be producing high-quality academic research regarding anti-Muslim bigotry that could then be used in civil rights litigation.
Okay.
The center, please.
Got it. Thank you. Senator Graham also pointed out some of the troubling events that the center has hosted, in fact, hosting someone convicted of support for terrorism. Just 3 days after Hamas's brutal atrocity against Jews in Israel, they hosted a talk at Rutgers about practicing resistance in Palestine. It opened by saying, quote, "It's impossible to give this talk without centering and reminding us how settler colonialism, and in this case particular Zionist settler colonialism, is a structure that is the provocation," end quote. Now, I agree with Senator Booker's points. You can't have attributed to you every single event or statement or conference where you sit a member of an advisory board or have in the past. So I just want to give you a chance to respond directly to that statement. Do you believe that Zionist settler colonialism was a provocation that justified Hamas's atrocity against Jews in Israel?
Senator, thank you for an opportunity to address that. Let me be very direct and unequivocal on this issue because it's a vitally important issue. The events of October 7th were horrific, a horror. The attacks on civilians were abominable and against everything that I stand for. So okay. I have no patience for any attempts to justify or defend those attacks on civilians.
Do you believe that Jews are colonial settlers in Israel?
Senator, I have the utmost respect for Jewish Americans who I have worked with deeply, who have lifted me up.
Americans, I asked about Jews living in Israel. Do you believe they're colonial settlers, Jews in Israel?
Senator, the conflict in Israel raises issues of policy. I'm not from...
This is getting back to what I was saying with Ms. Berner. This is a simple yes or no question. Are Jews in Israel colonial settlers?
Senator, I don't feel qualified to opine on that because it's not a region whose history I've studied or where I'm from.
Ms. Berner, one final question, kind of related. You signed an amicus brief in the Masterpiece Cake Shop case, also known as the Bake the Cake Bigot case, in which a man in Colorado who had a bake shop didn't want to bake a cake for a gay marriage. The Supreme Court ruled in his favor. Let me ask you, if pro-Hamas radicals went into a cake shop, say a Jewish bakery, and said, we want a cake on it that says Palestine will be free from the river to the sea, and it had a dagger drawn through the Star of David, would that Jewish baker be compelled to bake that cake under your view of the law?
Senator, the Supreme Court ruled in the Masterpiece Cake Shop case that the baker's right to freedom of religion gave that baker the right to deny.
To be exact, they ruled that the Colorado Commission had not applied the law neutrally. They later ruled in the 303 Creative case that a website designer had that right, but I'm asking you specifically about a cake baker, same thing, in which you said he did not have that right. Would a Jewish baker be compelled to make a cake that says Palestine will be free from the river to the sea with a dagger through the Star of David?
Senator, the Supreme Court in the Bostock case did not rule along the lines of, in the Masterpiece Cake case, did not rule along the lines that was advocated by my client. The brief that you are referencing was a brief that I submitted on behalf of my client. And were I to be so fortunate to be confirmed, I would, of course, apply that Supreme Court precedent like every other Supreme Court precedent or Fourth Circuit precedent that was relevant to the facts that came before me.
Well, I guess if you're confirmed, we'll have to see if pro-Hamas radicals want such a cake baked.